Well, good Saturday night, everybody. Welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosema, your host for this Saturday evening program. As we get into, I don't know if this is the unofficial kind of kickoff to our championship season, but we've got some stakes finals that we're certainly looking forward to, and it's the long weekend, so we know we're looking forward to a big crowd out there. And I've got my partner by my side here tonight to help out as well. It's the Hall of Famer Randy Waples. Good to see you back, and
good to see you as well. You know what I always kind of look at as our bit of a kickoff right now?
What?
The New Holland. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I find the New Holland breaks things up.
I know SBOA in the past was kind of always the unofficial kickoff.
But the New Holland,
right?
You know, like,
yeah.
You know,
but what's that? That's
150.
That's
lifetime?
March, though, right? That we do
Probably,
that kind of end of March.
I mean, it's a good stake series, so I kind of find that one is the one that kind of starts to like, oh, thank God, winter's over.
Either way, we know that right now we're into fantastic racing. Some great horses coming back. Really looking forward to that. Now, one thing that has changed. I mean, this week it's been more summer-like.
Yeah.
Now it really seems spring-like.
Yeah.
Here tonight. I mean, we've had there was rain overnight. There was a bunch of rain during the day. The winds have kicked up. Temperature has dropped. But for now, I think it's going to be dry.
Yeah. Track's
I
good.
believe through. I was just going to say to you, like, you know, for probably taking a fair amount of rain, how did it seem out there?
Track's good. You know, it looks to me like they had it all sealed up, you know, so there's not going to be, you know, probably really any mud. They're just going to wait to make sure that we get through the, you know, what are they calling for? Maybe a touch of rain, like around 6 o'clock, like very little.
Maybe. Yeah,
like
I think
sprinkle.
the bulk of it's done, which is good.
Yeah. I think once they cut it up, we are going to be good to go. Okay,
that's awesome because we know we're going to have a ton of people here tonight. This night always gets so many out. I mean, they're going to just file in as the night goes on. They're going to be here hopefully for the action early on. You can see there some saying, let's don the toques still, the Canadian toques, because it is a little chilly out there and that temperature will continue to drop, but we've got so much on the go here. There's so much to do for the entire family, but it's fireworks and family fun night over this Victoria Day long weekend. It's Memorial Day, I believe, south of the border, right? I think
Jack
that's
Nicklaus
what it is.
tournament soon, isn't it? When's the Memorial go? Right now,
I don't know when that goes. I know it's the PGA Championship right now.
Right.
You know
something else? Here's a prediction for you. By the time we're at around the 7th or 8th race, I say that tarmac is full. I say you can't see no pavement. It'll just be a wall of people.
Oh, we'll be jammed. Yeah. I mean, for those fireworks, it's just fantastic. So it is always fun. Yeah. Do we wish the weather was maybe a little more cooperating here tonight? Yeah, definitely. But you know, we're going to deal with what we've got, and we've got some great action coming up here on the program as well. So you were talking about the track and the weather out there. Everything looks good from that regard. You and I have got a ton to talk about here tonight. We've got a lot of visual.
But we're looking forward to this.
Yes, certainly. And as you say, with the weather, if hopefully rain doesn't really factor in too much, I think we're going to be just fine, especially for those fireworks later on.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, the Weather Channel shows a little bit possible. I think 30 or 40% chance at 6 o'clock, right? But it's going to be 1 millimeter, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. So, we should be good to go. And the track, it looks like, it's in really, really good shape. So I think that once they cut it, even if we get a little bit of rain, it's not going to make any difference. And the wind, we got just enough wind to kind of, keep things kind of dry in that, blow the cloud cover away.
Are you as good at predicting race winners as you are predicting the weather? You said at like 6 o'clock, there could be a touch of rain. Yeah, well, it's 6 o'clock. And there's a touch of rain out there.
Well, there's Harold Hussein and Randy Insane. That should be my weather guy, Randy Insane.
All right. Okay, as mentioned, we've got a lot to talk about here. Of course, we're going to focus a lot on those SBOA Stakes finals, but we've got a great undercard as well with a top-notch wagering menu. It does start with the early pick 5 guaranteed at $75,000. Our coverage, however, here tonight with our replays will kick off in race number 2. That is our first SBOA Stakes final, and it is for the 3-year-old filly Pacers, 133,000 plus up for grabs. There was no need for an elimination. 11 of them dropped in the box. They go straight to a final. So we do have Tricky Wiki, who will score from the second tier. 1 to 5 morning line. We don't see that often, especially in an overflowing field. But when you've got a horse like Chantilly, reigning horse of the year, getting back to work, has been much hyped all the way from last season, continues to get talked about. You talked about it, generating buzz both sides of the border and even on the thoroughbred side, so both breeds even.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll get worldwide if she ends up doing what, potentially she could end up doing,
Yeah.
Did you, Chantilly?
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
see-
quite make her my best bet.
Yeah.
You know,
See,
but,
I went against her.
yeah.
I'm going from the 10 hole.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I just picked that one out of the blue. I think that there's, a lot of them are going to be eating a little bit of dirt tonight with her. I love the way that she's come back. I mean, I not only just what she's showing on the track, but her physical build too. It seems to me like she's matured a little bit. And by the time she's done growing, when she heads into her 4-year-old year, she is going to be a big, big girl. Like not to say maybe not the size of Silver Label. I don't think she'll have that height that Silver Label had, but she's going to be a blocky kind of a girl. So let's take a look. Chantilly, this is going to be her last qualifier before she races tonight, May the 2nd in this one. Out of the 6th hole, and she's going to be a winner in 55 flat. Now, as you can see, the track wasn't maybe at its very best. She's got lots of go on the end of it. The qualifier before this one, she's also a winner in 53 flat. So this was a little bit slower time, but my goodness, just the way she looks, and like I said, the weight that she's put on. She's not overweight, but yet she's got extra weight going, you know what I mean? It looks like she's wintered very, very well. She's completely straight on the track. No, just no weaknesses to her. And I can honestly say a couple of times, Chad, I brought her name up to her driver just to get his reaction. And I'm telling you, man, he just glows.
Lights up. Yeah.
He just does.
Yeah.
He just completely lights up. And if I was, with the possibility of what he's looking at this year, I'd be the same way. I mean, this is what you live for as a driver, for horses like this. Trainer, driver, owner. This whole business is all about a horse like this.
Yeah, no, and it's fun, and I'm sure there's probably some stress involved for trainer, owner, driver.
Sure.
Especially when you're trying to manage an undefeated filly that's got such high expectations. But I'm sure they're excited to kick things off here tonight. We're all as race fans now. As far as betting interests. We know, she's going to offer 210.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
we're not, we're not here to say, okay, here's the great betting option.
Actually,
with
in a
her.
way, she is.
Well, I guess in multi-legs, you take that free square,
that's
right?
what it is. It's a free square.
The way we view it, if she lives up to what we all expect, in here, but when we get these horses like this that we know we're going to be such overwhelming favorites, they're going to be so, tough to defend against, they're just fun to watch.
Yes, that's
right?
part of racing as well.
Yeah.
You don't got to bet every race. Some of them you can come and just enjoy what you're seeing on the track.
Yeah, I love how she looks like she's come back.
Yeah.
Even stronger, if you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you see James's body language, I mean, what is he doing? He's tight line.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's coming home in sub 27 every time and not even really asked to do it.
And really, she's got the gate speed where she can go out of there. Everybody's going to be wanting to, get her in front of them. So whether they can sit the 2-hole or whether they can follow her, which and she's going to get you to exactly where she's going to go, but she's going to get so much respect on the front end.
Yep, true. Yep.
It's really going to be tough for this field to take her down because I can't see anybody going at her. Even if somebody gets parked from the outside and say she's in front, why would you go at her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can get up alongside of her, maybe, outlast it and get some money. But if you take her on, she's not only going to wax whoever takes her on, but, I think that she's still going to win. I think right now in this field, she's unbeatable.
Now, so she's the top tier, and she's in a league of her own, coming in off of that season. We have to put her there, obviously. Who's in the next tier out of this group?
Perfectly Chic, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I mean, Perfectly Chic's got a lot of talent. She showed it last year. Maybe didn't get to as many races in as they had hoped. She had to miss some of the dances. Bob talked about the Battle of the Bells, things like that. But he's obviously high. He glows about her too, and he should. I mean, here's another great filly. I think she's come along well so far in a couple of starts. What about the changes? What do you think of the changes they're making? Because they're making a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. They're snugging the hobbles up an inch. They're going to go from aluminum to steel up in front. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about that because if it was a sore foot issue, I think they'd be going from aluminum to floppers. So I think that maybe she just has that kind of a gait where maybe steel works a little bit better for her, but she's every bit as quick. So I'm not worried about that. And she's going to get a set of blinkers thrown on her tonight as well, So it should, liven her up a little bit there. So to me, one move is made to say, add a little bit of speed, the blinkers change, the bridle change. The other two to me is more kind of taking a little bit of speed away. When you tighten their hobbles up an inch, you're taking an inch away from their gait, you know. But maybe in Bobby's opinion, she hasn't been hitting those hobbles the way that he wants her to hit the hobbles. Kind of what we seen last week, and we're going to be talking about this in a little bit of time, as we seen with PL Aussie. Seemed like he kind of got loose in the hobbles, and the next thing, when they get into that kind of rolly action in the hobbles, they can just go off stride. Yeah. So I think that that's what they're doing, just protecting her in here tonight. I like the changes, but I don't think they're setting her up for any kind of speed. You asked me about the another one. I think that the 2-horse is basically in that tier as well.
I thought she raced great in her first start of the year from the 10,
and she raced good last year.
Yeah, no, she showed a lot of ability last year. Millie Mae Hanover, that expensive yearling for Andrew Harrison Company's got a bunch of them. I ended up using her for second, but I reached out to Andrew earlier this week for some comments on a couple of horses tonight, and he talked pretty highly about Millie Mae, very forthcoming. And Andrew told me that, you know, last year she possessed all the talent, all the tools,
she did. Yep.
but she lacked the desire.
Yes.
She just didn't want to do it.
There was kill in her, no kill.
He said she's come back great this year, and the difference is, and he can tell, is that she knows what to do and she wants to do it. Now, with that being said, he went on to tell me that Chantilly's at this level, right? And he said the only other one that he views right now that's at her level, Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
But he said Millie Mae will not embarrass herself. So I think he's pretty high on her. And I said, well, obviously there was no elimination. So what did you do to maybe keep her tight? He took her to the Meadowlands last weekend. Jason Bartlett sat behind her, trained her in 53.
Yeah.
So
I myself, at some point, I think that she's way too good of a horse to be 0 for 13. She's way too good of a horse to start her campaign off this year with the 2 seconds in a row. I think at some point, Chad, we may see the LASIK symbol beside her name.
And I'll have to double check, but I think this might be the first time Dougie's driven her.
I think you're right.
Because I think Sylvan might have drove her a little bit early on, last year. But, Dougie could get along well with her as well.
Looks like McClure was on her a few times, too.
Yeah. Okay. Over to race number 3. Early pick 4 gets underway here in the third race. We've got a group of 10, 5 and under, non-winners of 2 or 30,000 lifetime. And we've got another one that I think generates buzz, too. Did last year, and off of the first start of the year, has generated some buzz again. His name is Light Up the World. He's going to be installed as the 4 to 5 morning line favorite. I know it shows that he was, the margin of victory came down a bit from what he had in mid-stretch, and he had T.H. Casey crunching behind him. But he was shut down. He paced home well within himself, in my opinion, in 26-3. I know I saw Tony Beaton last night. Very happy with the way this guy came back. And Jody's charge, T.H. Casey Crunch, was third in PA Sire Stakes action earlier this afternoon.
He's come back good as well.
Yes,
all Carl's horses have come back very good this year. On the Light Up the World thing, I think that if James was drag racing, he would have been penalized for lifting his foot on the accelerator at the wire. He was just so much the best. He could just coasted this one home. So he's also going to be the way that I'm going to go in this race. Now, you're going to have to go by me and Chad's word on the fact, unless you sent in a replay for Light Up the World.
No, okay. I didn't. No.
You're going to have to go by our word on the fact that both you're using him on top.
Yeah.
We both loved him last week, and we both agreed too that it looked like he was the easiest of winners. That James, halfway down the lane, James was just letting them get up alongside of him, and at any point he could have just moved away again. So very strong winner. We do have a replay to show you of this race. And the reason why I want to show you this replay, though, is that last week Smiling Dancer was putting up a big effort first over for McNair. Puts in this little step, the one where we're actually Blue Bar also in this race for Travis Cullen, Jody Cullen. So now we got Blue Bar, fourth on the rail. And here's McNair. Now, I think that the hobble tripped him. I think the hobble kind of dropped down. See how it's onto the side? Like it's sideways, the spreader up front. I think it was a little bit too low in the knee caught it, and it just kind of tripped him a little bit. I think we can just toss that, but here comes Blue Bar. Only horse in the race that has good movement on the end of it was Blue Bar. So in my opinion, Blue Bar, a little bit of a troubled trip, let's say, when, Dougie threw that little step in. And the other one was Smiling Dancer. They did not chart it. I wanted you to see him throw that step in. And I honestly think it was just Well, the hobbles are attached to a front piece of plastic that drapes around their neck, and it's called the spreader for the front hobble, and they attach to that. And sometimes when they're going, it moves back and forth, but sometimes it'll get off kilter. And if it gets off a kilter, one hobble is going to go a lot lower than the other one. And it looked like to me that's what happened. And when his knee action came up, his knee caught the hobble where it should have been up on his forearm. His knee caught it, and it basically tripped him. And I think it was a great move. Not a great drive, but great reaction from McNair, because he just, boom, it just laid right off.
Well,
and I like that.
And I reached out to Doug. I spoke to Doug last night, and I kind of asked him about this. He couldn't, 100% definitively say necessarily what it was, but just something happened there. Obviously, it's going to catch you off guard because, you almost expect the worst. Mm-hmm. And so he said, ranging up, I had loaded with pace.
Yeah, that's he looked.
He felt like he was going to be well on his way to victory from that first over trip. But he said, I had to shut him down.
Yeah.
I just had to, because I wasn't certain exactly, you know what I mean? So
it was the right thing to do.
It was a great decision by Doug. Mm-hmm. But good to know, Doug saying like how much horse he had, right? And the good news is, look, he's right back.
Right back into go.
Right, so nothing major, which was good, good to see. And there's no kind of equipment changes or anything like that.
I think we're good to go
with
here.
Smiling
Just
Dancer.
wanted everybody out there to see
can move.
that, though.
He's quick, especially for a good piece.
Yeah.
Very quick, quick. But light up the world and Blue Bar, a couple of good ones in there. Okay.
Another one good in there quickly. I will just bomb on it real quick. I think this 4-horse is a really, really, really nice horse. This Grin and Win. Heather Pickett's horse.
Race great on Monday.
Well, every time he comes here, he puts up big efforts. You know what I mean?
I remember in the grassroots last year when you brought him here. Yeah.
Yes. If you're looking to maybe knock off Light Up the World, he'd be the one that I'd be taking, because I think he's got the ability to maybe do it, and you're going to get huge odds on him.
All right, we're going to go into our next SBOA Stakes final. It's race 4. Starts our pick 6. Now, this pick 6 tonight has got some added bonus to it, because you've got a carryover of more than $8,000. That's going to seed it. Good luck if you're going to play along in that wager. 3-year-old filly trotters, the Ontario Sire variety. Mona Lisi, last year's champion 2-year-old filly trotter, did come in off of a win in her elimination. The other limb winner, Green Glider, Trevor Henry, he's south of the border, having a good time. In Pimlico right now, awaiting the second jewel of the Triple Crown. So Bob McClure is going to get to drive Green Glider. But Mona Lisi, we're going to look back at these eliminations. And, she won. I know in my race call to me, I said, she's a wrapped-up winner, kind of won as she pleases. But in a post-race interview, Blake thought she kind of let up a bit.
I heard Blake say that, and I'm not going to say that she let up, but I'm not going to say that she was overloaded on the end of it either. Okay. James, the whip comes up. James hits a little bit of a wheel disc. It's not any, and you can see with the lines, they're doing a lot of dancing around these lines. She doesn't have that bit in her mouth. They start to come to her a little bit, and Tyler's not asking Sprite much. I think that I think she needed the wire last week, so I'm going to play against her. We also got a replay. Now, here's the difference of what, to me,
I was going to say, here's one that looks like a shot out of a can.
Right. Now, is this where you're going to?
Green Glider.
Me too. Okay, so we both seen the same thing. Mona Lisi in for second?
Yeah.
Me too. Sprite Sealster in for third.
Yep.
I didn't even need to come in tonight. So anyway, now this is the difference between the two on the end of it, though. To me, like I said, Mona Lisa, she raced great. She did a lot of the work. I would be so excited. But look at the way this one comes home. And just the confidence in Trevor here. Look at Trevor's body language. He knew before we got, 3 steps into the head of the lane that he was gone. And look at him now. Whip over the shoulder and absolutely no issues whatsoever. And, big advantage that's going to go to Green Glider as well. She is going to lose Trevor Henry. Picking up McClure, which is not a bad, that's not bad in any way, but big advantage I think that goes to Green Glider as well is Scott McEnany's camp. Maybe he's had a kind of a couple of quiet sort of years, but when he's hitting, this guy is gold when it comes to young horses, having them there as 2-year-olds, bringing them back as 3-year-olds. The guy is gold. Yeah. So I think that this one has come back viciously strong. I think that at some point, Mona Lisi might, maybe it'll be tonight. Maybe she will be the winner tonight. But if she gets beat, I still say at some point Mona Lisi gets back into the winning sort of a way. But even last year, a couple times at the end of the year, Chad, she'd cut miles and get picked off. And if you could see anybody in here picking her off, would it not be the 4-horse?
Well, and I think that's the reason why many of us are going the direction of Green Glider. Although she's not necessarily going to offer a massive higher price than Mona Lisi, we still have to think Mona Lisi is going to be the favorite. And listen, Mona Lisi's still the one to beat.
Sure she is.
Until she's taken off of that pedestal, she's the champion 2-year-old filly trotter that still came back with a win when she maybe wasn't even quite at her best, perhaps. So she could be even better here tonight, but Green Glider, just based on what we've seen, we're trying for an alternative.
Yes.
Right, to the favorite in here. Sprite Seals to Exquisite Taste, maybe I make a bigger case for either them if they're, closer inside. And maybe some of these other top ones drew outside, but that wasn't the case. You win your limb, you're sure of drawing 2 to 6, and that's what they've got. So I still think this is going to be a good group. And if, these 2 fillies and other ones just stay, together this season, and some continue to progress and get stronger, I think this could be a good division this year.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And I'm going to throw in what I consider to be a real long shot in this race, to the point where I'm not even using it, but I'm sure that Chad would agree with you. This one has come back very, very strong. Another Carl Jamieson one, not passable. I think she is racing incredibly
just
well.
light on experience, right? Yep.
And she's a big, solid kind of a filly. So if, things kind of go south, horses make breaks or anything like that, if she looks good on the track, I'd be working her in there somehow, because I think she's come back very good as well.
Okay, let's go to the next SBOA final. It's race number 6. Starts our late pick 5 wager. This one is for the 3-year-old Colton Gelding Trotter. So field of 9 for this one too, because Flanagan Sunshine has been scratched due to lameness. Fleetwood Mac does not draw in from the also eligible list. The sweep of the limbs last week went to Blade, Determination, and Wah, and it was Day and Look at Me Go Amigo. So we're going to get to see both of those again, and we can kind of talk about not just those winners, but maybe some others in there. So let's start out with the first one, and this is Day that's going to win, but we want to focus in on Galen Urso. He was making his first of the year, coming in off a qualifier that nobody raved about at the Meadowlands, but he looked pretty darn good in the stretch, didn't he?
Oh, did he ever. And I like the way that Dougie did it. It did everything with him. I thought he did. It was a good effort in here. Now, look at Day. I'll tell you something. For a horse that's just coming home in 26-4, he does it about as easy as possible. He doesn't even seem like he's changing gears to me, and somehow or another, there's 26-4. But look at this big fella coming on the outside to, McNair, back in the McNair camp. I just can't see a whole lot going bad with Galen Urso. I think that Dougie's got different ways if he wants to race him. I like the way that he did it in the last. I like him a little better when he's got a target.
So here's Look at Me Go Amigo. Right now is getting the 2-hole trip, following James, who's got Get the Green. Now, what you're going to see with James coming off the last turn is you're going to see he gets a bit fumbly and behind. And probably, and you could speak to this as a driver, when this happens right there.
Yeah, he stumbled.
And now he starts getting a little fumbly and behind. And at this point, James is probably thinking, well, I got to try and finesse him.
Yeah.
Right? How much can I ask him to kind of pick it up here, because he might self-destruct? And ends up finishing second, gets picked off. Look at Me Go Amigo. The trip ended up proving to be too sweet. Now, as far as the draw in the final, didn't harm him.
No.
Get the green, ended up getting the 3-hole, which is now going to, start from the 2. I did see James last night with him, and he said he can do that, and he did it there. And I said, is he better chasing? He said, he's actually quite good when he's on the front. Like if you can get him going or whatever. So, but this is a horse that can trot pretty well. But we talked earlier in this week. Interesting to note, because Louis didn't know exactly where he was going to go. It was going to be probably a decision. And he mentioned that not only do you think Look at Me Go Amigo at this point has more talent, he lacks up here, whereas Day is just so professional, perfect to drive, 2-finger, but he opted for Day in here, and Tyler Jones is going to drive Look at Me Go Amigo.
I in a way, maybe Luke was part of that decision, though. I mean, obviously, both of them race good. Louis can't go wrong either way. He's getting himself a nice horse, but maybe Luke was in this situation where, hey, I haven't had too many drivers on Day, but Tyler Jones has drove Look at Me Go Amigo and got along with them. So why don't we get Louis on Day and we go to Tyler on this one?
Okay. All right. Well, we're both going to go Galen Urso. Let's talk race number 7 on the program. Late pick 4 gets underway here. Nominators of 3 for the Pacers. Scratch down to 9 with the morning line favorites out of here, actually. Sable Wilson. Hopefully he's not got to miss too much time. I think a week tonight is actually the first gold of the year right here at Mohawk Park. We've got DA Loveboat returning to action, and I know this is one you got me onto early on, and you just said, just look at him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do love the look. You know, even if he wasn't a good performer, he's still just gorgeous out there. And what I like is when he stands up and he's just strong, straight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, here, you can critique this maybe a little bit more. It's a second qualifier. He's been runner-up in both of them. Now, he ended up chopping this one, put up, decent fractions, got a pretty easy middle half. Sprints home at 26-4, but Bourbon County, you got a nice trip. And he's no slouch for Paul Reed. He was able to tip and go by. But what do you think of DA Loveboat on the inside? I mean, to me, he's still pacing hard.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of a horse that really didn't know what he was doing up front.
Okay.
I think he just got out sprinted.
Yeah, was he ever on the front last year?
I don't know, but to me, and another thing that interesting about DA Loveboat, because he's the way I'm going with the scratch of Saba Wilson.
Yep.
Remember about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was telling you I was out at Classy Lane and I got to see Nijinsky train.
Yes.
Right. He looked amazing, by the way. This guy I also got to see train as well. Jack Darling also went big miles with this guy. So they've had fast miles about a month ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they've got lots of miles. It's not going to be a matter of one of them needing that kind of start. But I personally think that DA Loveboat is better coming off the pace. To me, it just looked like if you follow his ears were straight up even when Trevor was getting up alongside him, like, basically a training mile. And then when Trevor started to get by him, then you could see the ears kind of come back. You know what I mean? Like he was like a horse that, maybe was feeling a little bit of tiredness and not know exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I think that if Louis can race this guy from off of a horse's helmet, I think we're going to see one vicious move on the end of it. And I just love the way that he's come back. And, you can say a lot of things about a lot of horses, but look at his 2-year-old mark last year. You're not going to see too many 2-year-olds that take a mark sub 149. That is not a common occurrence. So to me, he showed a little bit of specialness just there. If it's just speed, so be it. But guess what? Speed can beat horses.
He also beat Luprint on that day, too, in 48-4.
There you go.
Jeez.
And Luprint's not a bad horse.
No, won again today in PA Sires action. SBOA final number 4 and race number 8. This for the Glamour boys, the Thrill Colt and Gelding Pacers. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but every single year we've got so many good horses in the provincial program that we know are going to step up at the Grand Circuit level, and I think there's going to be a handful of them out of here. Crack Shot, there was no need for a elimination,
right.
So some of them got some prep races into them, including a Crack Shot. I don't know, could he look better?
No, he looked amazingly well out there. And I went against him in that first start. I went to somebody else thinking that, hey, maybe I might be able to beat him. 5, didn't you? I think I did go to 5th and 5.
And he was really good off the bench.
I got him in for second. He raced good here, But listen, he's got the advantage on Dougie at this point. He's got the less ground to make up. Let's put it to you that way. But Dougie ends up getting the job done. Here's the change that I was a little bit, I thought for sure Louis would stick with Sterling Choice. But he's going to go with Tip of Time instead. I mean, I could have even seen Louis maybe leaning a little bit towards Set Shot from the 10 hole, but instead he's going to go with the other Moore trainee, Tip of Time. Juggy nails Jody right on the wire, but I think that he instead, and so now Billy Davis, in my opinion, is picking up a very live catch drive with this Sterling Choice, because I thought he qualified good both times. I liked the way that he went. I know he got picked off in that first race, but that was a tough bunch, so I mean, maybe he can be 3rd to Crack Shot and 5th and 5 in here again today, but I think that's the way to go. And I also threw Boxer Sealster in on the bottom, another McEnany charge. First time Lasix on this guy, and picking up James McDonald to boot. So a lot of difference with him as well.
Yeah, I just love what I see from Crack Shot. He looks like a little sports car.
Is he ever?
Certainly does. Okay, I know we've got stakes action tonight, and that's going to get a lot of the focus. And obviously Chantilly, she's the headliner. But race number 9, I mean, we knew the preferreds were going to get deeper in the coming weeks for not just the boys, but the girls, the trotters, whatever it may be. And that's been the case. I mean, what a preferred lining up here. A full field of 10. You've got Brew Hanover that has just been sensational. Irvin Hanover was that horse prior to shutting down for the season. He's come back fantastic. And then you throw in Nijinsky into the mix. And I mean, that's just 3 of them in here. But we are going to look at Irvin Hanover and his latest qualifier. So he's won them both. First one at 53-1. This one in 51. He had stablemate It's a Love Thing, who rallied to be second last night, chasing him behind him. But, 26 seconds on the end of it. And doesn't he just look great?
Oh, he looks amazing. McNair's picking himself up a vicious drive,
isn't
here,
he?
I mean, unbelievable how good he looks out there. I mean, really, really. And I mean, he's always looked good. Every time we see him on the track, he's a nice-looking horse. He's been rested, ready to rock it. And, we're looking at a horse that probably is going to be one of the favorites in the Canadian Pacing Derby, would be my guess anyway. Let's take a look at the other one, Chad, because this guy's a pretty nice little cat himself.
Yeah, Nijinsky. So this is his latest qualifier. He's had 2. April 28th, he just kind of tracked, ended up being 3rd there, but remember, never tipped off the helmet. It was right there the whole time. This, a different approach. Down the road, half in 57-4. How about a back half in 54, mile at 51-4. Pretty good.
Yeah, now, I found that in my opinion, Nijinsky put up a better qualifier. I like the look of him a little bit better than I do Irvin Hanover. Not that you do a whole lot bad about either one, but I'm going with Irvin Hanover up on top.
I'm with you.
Because I think that Louis is going to go out of his way to make sure he does not hurt this horse that first lifetime start, and it can be done. It doesn't matter how good they are. If you do too much that opening start, they're never going to be the same the rest of the year, and this guy has got huge opportunities this year. So I still say that Nijinsky can win this race. He's in for second. I got Irvin in for up on top. But I think that Louis could.
But he won't be overused to do it, right?
And he could find himself in a difficult situation sometimes when you go in there and your biggest focus is, yes, I want to win, but I can't overuse this horse. You can find yourself into a bit of a different spot. I don't think McNair's going to be thinking that way at all with Irvin Hanover. I think he's just going to be, come on, get me, boys, we're racing.
Yeah. First main test for him as far as stakes is the Graduate 2 weeks from tonight, right here in his own backyard for Nijinsky.
What an open.
And gem quality. That's why, Chris Ryder, that's why he's got him here right now. Class didn't fill south of border. He's got him up here for the Graduate. Race number 10 to close things out, $226,000 plus in carryover money to the high five. We'll be kind of quick through this. As you can see, we're working on borrowed time here, Mr. Waples. Dragon on the Beach. You and I both think that this guy, the drop is just too much.
Yeah.
And it's a second start back as well. He's just kind of checking the boxes of saying, you know what, I'll probably get it done tonight. But he'll have to work for it too, because there's some good ones in here. They're going to make him pace a good mile.
They will. We're going to take a look at the replay, Chad, of Dragon on the Beach. This only qualifier that he shows. He had a little bit of time off. October the 12th was his last race. Now we're going to have this qualifier, and hey, check this guy out on top. We just seen him. That's Irvin Hanover. So he is now in the 2-hole in against Irvin Hanover. Now, Irvin Hanover, to me, looks good. I don't really think that this horse looks bad either. It looks to me like Dougie's just going along for the ride. So Dragon on the Beach, I thought that first start, there was really no use of showing the replay as much as looking at the middle half with Dragon on the Beach. He goes out of there 29 flat last week, and then the next quarter is 26-4. The next quarter is 28 flat. He goes the middle half in 54-4, first start back. I think that he could never really get himself back into that race. Now he takes a drop down, picks up the rail as opposed to last week with the 8-hole. I say this week he does get himself into the race, and I say that he's ready to go.
Yeah, and I mean a 54-2 first half, and then a 54-3 back half for that group. That's just tough.
It is.
Right?
And first start.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through your early Pick 5 tickets first here. There you go. You got your singles, and then you're going to follow it up. You're really hoping to get to that final leg, and then you're going to hope for a long shot.
This is it. That's the way I'm going to play it.
In a perfect world.
Yeah, so in race number 1, I really like Jack Panic tonight. So I'm going to go 3, 4, 5. In the first, single's going to be Chantilly. Race number 3, single, Light Up the World. Race number 4, I'm going to go 2 deep. I'm going to use Mona Lisa as well as Green Glider up on top. And then, like Chad was telling you, in the last race, I like Control the Power tonight, and I was shocked that you also like Control the Power
Just trying
tonight.
to find a price somewhere.
Right, and I think that Century Inspector really is looking like he can sweep this, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But if things don't work out for him, then I think it's a race that anybody could win, and that's the way I'm going to play it, all in the last leg, hoping for a big price.
Okay, and what about your other pick 5? Because I know you put together a late one as well as, oh, geez.
Yeah, went a little
goodness.
singly on this one as well. So in race number, this one starts off in race number 6. We're going to single Galen Urso. In race number 7, I originally had the 2 horse in there, Sable Wilson, but we're going to go 3 and 9. I'm going to throw Ben Lookin in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I only because.
The 9 is scratched too now. Ben
wow.
Lookin's out. Oh,
There
gotcha,
you
gotcha,
go.
gotcha.
It'll make the ticket a little bit cheaper
He needs
in there
he needs a rest after that last
Oh, what a
last
huge
race.
effort. And that's why I couldn't leave him off. God only knows what he could have done tonight, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, what a big effort. And then race 8, back to the single. Crack shot, going to single him in here. Race 9 is going to be my all button in here. I think that this preferred could go any kind of a way in there, and maybe I could get lucky and catch a price. And then in race number 10, back to the single, and that's going to be the 1 horse.
Jeez, look at all those singles. Times are tough, eh?
Yes, exactly.
My goodness.
I've been buying golf clubs off of ex-commentators.
Yeah.
I got to pay for them.
And new shoes.
And new shoes.
And new shoes. Star power here tonight. Not just the Hall of Famer Randy Waples. We've got plenty of star power on the track here as well, including, as we've talked about, reigning horse of the year Chantilly making her 3-year-old debut. I mean, we can't wait to see her out in action.
Can you imagine how James feels?
Oh, I know.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
You know, I'd just be like vibrating, waiting for this. You know, you're going to chill as soon as you get behind her. But my oh goodness, I mean, when horses like this come, it was the same thing when Sandpail would come back.
Yeah.
You just vibrate, waiting for him. You know?
She'd have been out there already warming up, but we don't have to wait long for her because she's in the second race. So she's early on the program in the first of 4 SBOA Stakes finals. Then Nijinsky, last year's Pepsi North America Cup champion. We've talked about it. He's going to be in what is a stacked preferred. You know, you've got the Maneri 1-2 punch, 2-headed monster, whatever you want to call it, and others in there as well. But Nijinsky, looking forward to him getting off to a start in his 4-year-old debut as well.
Yeah, he's going to have an incredible year, I think, there, because I haven't seen too many 3-year-olds that are as handy as what he is. In the words of Dave Wall, handy as a shirt pocket.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Your
you
dad
go.
would say that too, wouldn't he?
Yes.
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 Yeah, exactly. So yeah, excited about that. And then tonight, I mean, you know, glad that so many people are here already on track. It'll continue, as you talked about, that tarmac. Even though the weather isn't perfect, it's still fine out there. It's good. Yeah, see, look at already from what, 30 minutes ago?
You know what we got tonight, Chad?
What have we got?
We got 10 races of fireworks, and then after that, we got fireworks.
There you go. That's right. That's right. We've got fireworks, family fun night here. So much on the go. Glad you've decided to come here and spend some of your long weekend right here at Mohawk Park. This is just such a great night. Everybody looks forward to it each and every year, and glad everybody's here. Now, here's how things are going to go timing-wise. So, yes, fireworks obviously are going to follow tonight's card of racing. However, just keep in mind that it's not like, okay, the last race goes, it's official, and boom, we start lighting the fireworks. Our equine athletes, they put on a show out there. We got to give them just a little bit of time to kind of wrap things up here and head out. You don't want to be getting them all riled up because of all the, obviously, there's going to be loud noises and lights and everything. A lot of chaos going on here, especially with the crowd as well. So looking forward to that. While we are awaiting that, we have got state-of-the-art light show that's going to be getting played out there tonight as well. So fireworks are going to start roughly, we'll say, about a half an hour after that last race goes. But again, time will just fly while you're waiting out there. What begins tonight, too? This is so popular. It is Sulky Rides. And right on the main concourse at the guest experience desk, you can sign up and register. I know it's going to be limited spaces for that, but Sulky Rides, you get to ride in behind, a former racehorse out on the track.
Sometimes there's some pretty wicked former racehorses.
Yeah. So starts tonight. It'll be every Saturday through the end of the summer. So looking forward to that. It's just great. And appreciate all the people that help kind of volunteer their time to put that on as well. We've been talking about this throughout the week. And, as much as we want to see you guys cash a lot of winning tickets, we know it's inevitable. There are going to be some that you would normally just toss in the trash. Well, tonight. If you have a losing ticket, hopefully not many of them, write your name and phone number on the back of it and put it into the drum that you're going to see in the HPI bet desk that's set up by the Tim Hortons on the main entrance. There will be 5 draws ranging from $500 down to $50 that will be deposited into the winner's HPI bet account. Easy to sign up if you're not a member either, but those draws will be taking place after the 9th race preferred event. So it gives you guys time to be able to get some draws put in there. Fill out as many tickets as you want. Give yourself a chance.
Yeah, I have a suggestion for you.
What do you got?
Play my plays, and then they'll all probably lose. Play Chad's plays, and they'll all probably win. So here you go. You can make money on Chad's plays, and on mine, who knows? Maybe you might be able to
James McDonald
win
now.
the HPI. You are James McDonald of the broadcast set. Hey?
Jeez. Wow.
You should be wearing blue and yellow over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't look good in blue and yellow. Okay, let's get into our plays of the night. The Hall of Famer back with his 4-pack. Oh, okay, we'll do plays of the night a little bit after.
Sounds
Actually,
good.
I believe we've got Anthem coming up here to kind of jumpstart this Saturday night program, which is getting underway here very shortly.